Hello and welcome to Parked Media's 2023 coverage of the WA Open. I'm joined by Ashley Wiedner and Jacob Davies. What an exciting tournament we've got ahead of us.
Can't wait.
Indeed, Kyle. I'm looking forward to seeing it for the first time, and I am stoked to have Jacob here in the commentary box with us.
Yeah, I'm going well.
Jacob?
Yeah, it was a huge lead up into the event, months in the making. I guess I was a co-TD of the event.
Getting straight into it, what are you throwing,
so I'm putting
Jacob?
with the Kevin Jones 350G PA3, throwing a lot of the A2, FX2, and then the drivers. A bit of a mix of my 400G D2 and D1s.
Absolutely. Frosty, the same old story. A lot of Discmania, DD3s, FDs, a couple of new additions to the bag with a baby pink DD3 that we'll be seeing around a lot.
Chris Finn, as we move on from Frosty's Discmania Museum, we go to Chris Finn's streamlined bag. So Orange Star Wraiths, White Pekka we'll see a lot of, and the Rock.
Corey Bandy, the last on our card. Very similar to Chris, you'll be seeing a bit of the Shrikes, T-Birds, and some FDs thrown in there as we jump straight into hole one.
Alrighty,
Jacob,
so hole one, it's a tight drive to start the round off, sort of downhill, aiming to get it out to about 120. Keeping it in bounds, OB running down the left side tree line and wrapping up sort of long right, as well as OB sand green there as well. Just trying to put maybe a fairway driver down in the middle and then hit the tunnel and keep it close for a putt.
Sounds like a plan, yeah. Very good opening hole. I really enjoyed watching all of the drives and seeing how people attack
The
it.
wind played tough, maybe more so in round 2 and 3, but it was nice and still to start off. I'll grab my 400 feedback here.
Oh, the power level 9,000. Yeah.
I thought I'd put way too much hyzer on this, but absolutely nailed it. Just stoked. Sat nicely.
Yeah, beautiful amount of flip up.
It was definitely the right to left came in round 2 and 3, so it changed the hole pretty decently. It was kind of like you can see the flag there, but it was relatively still in this round. Got lucky for mine to sit.
See Frosty with that familiar form in one of the best shirts I've ever seen on a disc golf course, just catching a tree there.
Taking the charge for MP40, Mr.
So
Chris
smooth,
Finn,
bro. I
representing
was
Rad,
constantly
Flying
impressed by how
Disc
smooth
Golf,
that
Dude,
backhand form
and
is.
part of the Mundaring Disc Golf Club
I don't think I saw a single
executive.
forehand though. I'm not sure if that's a surprise for anyone.
Not me.
Chris Finn's a bit of a local legend there. He played a pretty significant role in putting
Absolutely, yeah. And as we heard, taking the charge in MP40, we've got him and Corey, who you'll see in a moment. That will explain the multicoloured scoreboard you'll see below. The orange numbers for MPO and the blue numbers for MP40 for the placings.
Absolutely smashed that strike down.
I love the experience of Finney on that drive, taking the cool guys don't look at explosions approach to it, throwing it. I know this course so well. I know what that's doing. Just walked back to his cart. Thank you very much, disc golf.
Very cool, calm and collected guy on the course.
Ooh. There you go.
Corey Bandy getting...
Get down.
Just needs to sit a bit. And I think that just...
I think he hit the base of one of the last trees there and he got quite lucky, if I remember correctly.
Right.
Now, this is a tough shot. It's about 100 metres kind of downhill, OB left. It's going to try and send something.
Trees are 90% out. As that is
I
well
do
encircled.
not know how that got through there. I was bewildered by that.
Well, Frosty certainly wasn't bewildered by the tree line.
Corey finding a similar gap, and that's even more par.
Absurdly good. He certainly knows his disc. He's been playing for, pushing 30 years or something.
Yeah, that 4-digit PDGA
Well
number
and
says a
truly.
lot.
I believe that's my Glow PA3 there.
As our man puts it nicely up there too. Don't sell yourself short.
Jeez, so far down there.
Now, can Finney complete it? That had everything, that shot, didn't it? That familiar Chris Finn air bounce.
Got caught up a little bit in that ceiling there. Long look. Yeah, and to start the round off nicely. Beautiful log putt.
His putt's been looking real
So
smooth recently.
So impressed. Got so much touch with that. How it kind of just drops into the basket. It doesn't really push in. So much touch.
Nice look for Betty yourself.
Appreciate having sort of a little bit of a putt to warm up into the round, but nice to be able to just tap something in. Or even closer.
Hole 2 now. Another par 4 to really loosen up. Not too much though. We've got an OB kind of island leading down here on this 200-meter par 4 with that creek playing OB, a line extending probably 15 meters short of that, playing a touch approach shot there, and then shooting over the river into this right-hand tree line, into a bit of an upslope to this protected basket.
Yeah, it certainly is a challenge. We had a bit of a blockage of a draining ditch a little bit over past hole 1, and that sort of led to water building up in this sort of first initial fairway. So it's quite sludgy down there. The grip on the footing is a challenge. It's my 400 distortion there. Just kind of being on the left side opens up best to have a look at the basket.
Yeah, I feel like it was a really good change from hole 1, immediately switching into more of a placement style shot.
Yeah, well and truly.
Dan just shooting it dead straight down the fairway, and I think that's going to end up just on the right side. Getting a very good view of that Adidas
I remember
shot.
seeing that shot, and he was
did
quite
look for them
hinged on the
online.
right there. I was surprised to see how tough it is. There's quite a lot of large, very tall trees there. He's going to have a tough left to right shot into the basket.
Yeah, as you mentioned, the lack of forehand also only going to make that
Yeah,
shot a bit more
exactly right.
difficult.
Corey put it in a nice spot there.
It's an experienced placement shot, that, isn't it? I'm just going to pump it out there and I'm going to trust my approach.
Yeah, that sort of area myself and Corey are in is probably about 100 to 110 meters uphill into the basket. But there was a little bit of a tailwind if I remember right. So it's just not too much of a pump in there, but enough to commit to a shot. Chris has got a very tough line here.
Chris finding himself. Yeah. I think he's done very well to get that
Steep
around.
Anheuser.
Catching some foliage, but yeah, he'll have a look.
Gets over on that beautifully.
So much touch.
Corey also with a nice turnover. Perfect weighting.
Yeah.
Is this your
Yes, it
750
is.
M4?
It's speed up nicely,
Believe?
but left it a little bit short there.
And quite pinched. So that flip up to turnover and
Good.
Parked.
look, he does pretty well.
The amount of Anheuser he had to put on that, that was just insane.
Yeah, to show my familiarity with Dan's bag, that's his P1X super beat up, super flippy. Just every time he throws it, close bid from you. Every time he throws it, always think it's too much hyzer and it finds a way.
That is absurd. Take inspiration from Simon's P1 Ace, maybe.
Maybe a little bit, yeah. Nice clean up there. Not too much damage.
You want the birdie there, but it's not the end of the world. It's probably playing slightly on the easier end, but OB and a little bit of exposure to the wind can certainly take numbers quickly.
Good cleanups as we still haven't found our way to Dan's disc. There we see it peeking out from behind the scoreboard.
Certainly had the hardest angle into the green.
Birdie start.
Alrighty, hole 3.
Speaking of angle into the
hole
green.
3 is uphill about 115 metres as it says, but probably plays closer to 125. Really trying to, if you're the right hand backhand, playing the big turnover flex. There's the OB sand green. I say shouldn't come into play, but if you don't get over on it and you throw far, it can certainly be there.
Get off. Yeah. Skip. Yeah. Head circle. Just up front.
Yeah, not bad at all
Yeah,
there from Dan. Probably a bit lower than he would have hoped, but keeping it out of any major wind and still skipping up into the circle.
Skip nicely. Going my beat up 400G D2 turnover line.
I like the sound of that.
Oh, beautiful.
Oh, behave yourself.
Certainly don't see too many go long on this. I was surprised. I was throwing a fairway driver a few months ago, and then sort of the wind was changing, so I changed the driver and I went long. Playing.
I think either way you look at it, a very good disc choice there.
Truly.
A nice
A
look.
lot of players that aren't getting that sort of 125 distance are pretty much just playing this for a 3.
Oh, too much.
I can definitely vouch for that.
Just want to get over that berm there, that little ridge. To have a little look. He got over on that one a little bit.
Yeah, it's a surprising tricky little approach. It gets away from you very quickly. Chris makes no mistake and puts that
Beautifully
very nicely.
done. I've seen a few nasty rollaways on this. The slope probably doesn't convert on camera quite as much as it is, but that skippy little gravel around there and a little bit of steep hill can certainly get nasty quickly.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, as you see, Corey skipped through a little bit.
It's about 9 metres or so.
Love it. Yeah, you would just edge a circle, I think, on the
like that.
catch cam view that I saw, so it's a fantastic
It was
birdie.
literally an inch above the rim, but I was stoked.
Well, it ended up a couple of inches below the ring, sitting in
Where
the
you'd
cage.
rather be.
So, happy days, and Dan takes his birdie up.
Dan's going to join you. 3 from 3. What a start from
What a
Frosty.
start. You don't see that often. From Corey there. Honestly, that played probably a stroke easier than you'd see across the board, but like for this card, but nice to see.
Oz Discs, powering Team Heiser Flight. Check them out at ozdiscs.com.au.
Yeah. Hole 4 next. We've got a tricky 150 metre par 4 shooting out of this initial gap into the open here and then cutting left into the woods. Back to the left, we commence 2 tunnels, left and right, that play normally as a par 3 on the blue layout. Both very tricky. Players will try and shoot down to the end where these 2 tunnels converge, where you'll find this basket plenty of trees to hit. Really, players want to try and just push into the tunnel and have some sort of look. How do you play it, Jacob? Is it a bit of hope and see based
Yeah, I
on the
mean, a
drive?
lot of people are trying to play to put it on that blue tee pad, as you said, maybe a mid-range, something like that, like Dan's gone here. Just trying to have one of the gaps to go with wherever you go. I was sort of going with maybe similar to what the pros were going with when they were here for the Aussie Open in 2015-17, pumping my overstable feedback down there, just trying to push in there as far as I could and have a little bit of a look. Unfortunately, I got a pretty large skip left and I was in a very tough spot. It's sort of a pathway over the white tee pad there.
Yeah. No, I feel like it's such a hard shot to judge of wanting a skip, but also trying to luck it with that balloon skip.
Yeah, exactly. I think it was a little bit left. If I'd been a bit right, maybe I would have skipped in, but had that little chip forehand up shot. It's going to be a scramble from there.
Chris just a bit early. And that's going to be a very difficult.
We talked about that blue tee pad. About 2 meters to the left of that is quite a large bunching of trees, as you can see Chris in there.
Going roller. That's gone through everything, and that's Edge's
Absolutely.
circle.
What a shot.
How has that happened?
He took his time to figure that one out and absolutely nailed it.
Yeah. Corey taking a bit of a wayward kick left, but I think, again, should still be in work.
He was. And again, going down the floor gap.
P1X.
You can see,
That's a committed shot
you
from
can
you.
see
Out
the
of those
tiny
trees.
little gap I tried to hit, and then went through those last little trees to scoot up in there. That was a bit of a poke and hope, but it worked.
Yeah, it was almost a chance of going in as Corey reins that one in from probably just outside the
Absolutely
circle.
nailed it.
I'm 9.
For 4 in a row.
What a start.
Wow.
So hot.
I think we call that a turducken.
Oh, Finny.
What a birdie. From where he was off the tee, you just
That's
don't
a bonus.
see that.
That's a
Do not
bonus
see
birdie,
that.
yeah. And yours truly with the closest to the
who would've
bunch.
thought? I did not expect to be getting any look from Ellis off the tee. Bit left side, but yeah, that's a very unlikely star frame. You don't see that often at all. Usually someone's deep in the stuff somewhere. So moving on to hole 5, par 3, it says 100 meters, probably plays a little bit longer than that. Pretty protected from the wind. You're just trying to play that proper, if you're right-hand, backhand player, that S turn. A little bit of turn through the initial gap and then finishing into the basket. Plays very, very hard. Super, super tight off the tee. Very, very specific line. Dan was reflecting on an MD5. I think. Yeah.
Oh, get through.
Trying to do
Well, and got quite over on that.
trying to do what Paul Macbeth did when he was here with a stable rock 3. Absolutely parking it. I think 3 for 3, 2017.
Yeah, look, after playing the course, I've got new appreciation for that as open footage.
16 under.
And a new appreciation for how well Paul threw into her. Yeah.
This is my flippy
Is that
F3.
going to catch some stability? Or...
That's fine. That's good.
Got through a long way, and lack of tree hits makes for a decent
Very,
second
very happy
shot.
with that for sure. Just somewhere in C2, pitch up. Maybe have a look. You probably see that tree right in the middle there. Everyone's kind of aiming at that, trying to get a little bit of turn to the side of it and then finish back after that. But if you hit it and kick left, it is jail.
I'm not thinking about slipping on these tees.
Dan with a tricky lie, but we've seen him do this before today.
Low skipping, middle of the fairway, but noticeably
He's got that
short.
tree right
So-
in front of him there. He's going to have to get creative.
Oh, Corey. Absolutely smoked that into the backboard.
Missing every tree up the fairway, then hitting the one behind the basket that kicks him back towards it. That's how you play that hole. Don't listen to Paul Macbeth. Listen to Corey.
Chris went a little bit long there. Took a few seconds to find my disc there, but it's kind of pitching a little hyzer. But
Oh, stop it, Dan. Wow. Moosed
absolutely
that one.
bombed it in there. I had to get nice and high around that. He would have been able to see barely any of the baskets, and there he was. That was insane.
What did I say? And a big one.
He's never missing.
Yeah, really just committed to that high point, and as we get a look at the reverse parked, just complete trust in the line.
Far out.
Got it to the apex and said, yeah, disc, you
Just
can do
dropped
the
in.
rest.
That nose down, pulled it in so nicely.
Corey probably didn't expect to be big putted with there, so might have put him off a little. Chris getting a bit low.
Oh, what a save.
Beautiful spin out of the hand there from
Quite an
Corey.
open green, but I think you just
Made the
want to
correction.
hit your putts here. There's so much pressure just because of how hard the hole can be and how much it can get out of control. Putts seem harder than they should be.
How much value there is on hitting a edge of
Exactly
circle
right.
putt.
And I believe there was 0 birdies in the MPO field on this hole this round.
Wow.
Yeah. Hole 6 now, another par 4 as we sneak up to this line here. Hazard over the green to this other blue line and then into the trees here. Sitting at 190 metres, for most of these guys, it'll be a placement shot off the tee to just before the line, wanting to push a bit right so they've got a straight shot up that second tunnel.
I sort of built this out of bounds, this hazard line to stop the Blake and the Alex of the world from going there. Super aggressive cut roller, playing into the left side or up near the sand green somewhere and having a little pitch up for birdie. And to bring them back down to earth a bit.
Yeah. And yeah, as Chris just said in the footage, he's put that right on the line because you painted them, and that was a great drive.
Yep, just sort of spiking FX2 in there, just trying to hit the spot and have a line in.
Some good stuff from Corey as well, following you to that little bit more left side.
Yeah, it's not the
approach.
worst. You sort of get a little bit more of a hyzer line rather than the straights, sort of in that 90 to 100 meter range to the basket.
Yeah, I think Dan pushing out that way and Chris as well, probably a lot more comfortable with that straighter shot. Whereas the trend I've seen in your bag so far, that overstability is going to come quite in handy
Yes,
for the next
exactly
one.
right.
Dan catching a tree there that might have helped him out a bit, I think.
Yeah, I was a little bit worried it might keep back into the hazard there, but got past it fine. Just looking a bit left.
So on the course design here, Jacob, I've noticed the trend. Have you guys in WA heard of par threes?
No, we're allergic to those. We have too many park courses with short par threes, so once we do the big drive out to Mundaring,
Right.
we want par fours. I think the course
enough
is par
too.
65, yeah, one of the
I like
highest
the
in
thinking.
Australia, I'd say. This was in my M2.
Not sure, Kyle, but I think it'd probably be higher par than Stony Creek in Melbourne.
By quite a lot.
Maybe just a couple.
Okay, yeah.
Maybe a couple. Chris with that glow roo for his approach.
Yeah,
Shapes it nicely.
Can't complain having a long look on this one. Obviously, it was playing pretty easy on the weekend, but It was actually the easiest hole in round one. A lot of birdies there, but yeah, you just want to be in position. You just really don't want to take a bogey.
Absolutely fucking on the pitch.
Yeah, for sure.
And not quite able to recreate the magic from the last hole as Corey playing object golf there and hitting the pole.
Some good dispersion from the card.
Yeah, we're all happy to get away without too much damage. Great. There.
Absolutely. Take
Yep.
it away, hole 7.
Hole 7,
What have we
so
got?
sort of trying to hit the initial gap and start moving right, whether that's a lefty backhand hyzer, righty backhand turnover, or a righty forehand hyzer. It's pretty much keep it straight and then start turning to the right and play down this tunnel. The tunnel's only about 55 meters long, but it feels a hell of a lot longer when you're playing from back. And if you're any bit to the left, it is tight. There is a Mando out there that should come into play. Plenty of stuff tight right and left. Just really trying to place it in the right spot.
Well, this looks terrifying.
Oh, Dan has caught a portal all the way through every single tree on
We
the right
were shocked.
to nearly onto the fairway that
We
just
were
played down.
shocked.
I think he was
How
equally.
he managed to get so early right and push so far through.
This is looking a bit better.
There's a little bit.
It's flattening out beautifully.
Oh. Catch cam lost it in the grass there, but that's a long way up the
It
fairway.
was absolutely moosed from Jacob.
500 F3, just playing the turnover. A little bit left there. Still have a long look into the gap.
Corey finding a shrubbery that should have something.
Chris with a bit more turn, finish middle of the fairway. It's definitely one of those shots, very similar to the last hole where it's a bit of choose your own adventure based on where your drive lands, with this left more hyzer play or the straight look down the
Exactly
tunnel.
right.
So plenty of options.
Oh. C1 from Finney there.
Just a little outside.
Little outside. Pushed through very nicely as
Playing a
Dan
different hole.
finds some more local flora.
See, I'm just, like, honestly 3-4 meters left of the gap here, and I was absolutely stuck for what the hell I was going to do. Trying to flex an A2 in there. Didn't quite give it enough.
Yeah, it's one of. It feels a lot like one of those holes where you want to either miss by a lot or
Yeah,
don't
exactly
miss at
right.
all. And anything in between is.
That
very
right side
painful.
rough is very, very hard to get through.
Yeah, so we see what Corey's faced with, and not the most friendly approach, but a very friendly tree.
Two very
Try
friendly
her
trees.
out.
Great kicks. More kicks than the Moulin Rouge.
Look in my lid here, PA4.
Very nice.
Little gap.
Do it.
Oh,
Looked so good.
would have been an incredible birdie there from Chris. But
Great putt.
take the par.
Like my cat on the way to the vet, he just couldn't get it in the cage.
And another good putt. Don't hate a par on this one. If you're not in a good spot and you're not having a good look at that tunnel, par's not the end of the world.
Yeah, moving into hole 8 now. 90 metres, the most straightforward hole on this course, and the second easiest after the hole 6 that Jacob mentioned. For the righties, it'll be a forehand. For Dan, it'll be a turnover. And for the lefties, it's the most stock shot you've got.
You certainly would think so.
Hazard over the left, so anything that hits a tree and kicks out like that will be hazard for Dan.
Yeah, so we expected this to play as pretty much the easiest hole, and it just about did. Clicking my D1 here. Just sliding, rolling up in. I think that was just inside, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, said hello to the flag on its way past.
Heads up, guys.
Corey has got a lot of that.
Unfortunately, not quite got over on it. It's way out there, but should be a pretty stock shot in for the bogey save.
Chris with his Star Excalibur.
Nice.
And that's beautiful. Exactly what you
Knows
want.
it.
Maybe a bit bigger skip, but otherwise, perfection.
Good to see a couple of forehands from the card too. I believe they're the first we've seen for the day.
I think so.
Shout out Matty Farina, our local forehand guy. We'll be very happy to see those.
Corey just finding those Guardian trees from the blue hole
I
8.
think this is a good run here. I was probably about, 11 metres maybe? A little bit of wind. Cash.
Chris, that's a nice one.
Probably 9 metres.
Yeah.
Centre.
Starting to warm into things now by the looks of it, Finney.
I decided then to do the exact same thing again from about 9 metres.
Consistency
It really
is
is.
key. Dan sneaks that one in left side.
Yeah.
Yeah, you may have seen my face as we watched that putt again, Jacob, but I wasn't sure if we edited the footage with the repeat of your putt from first putt because it was so identical.
There it is. Drop it. I was
No,
somehow
we're in
in
there.
bounds.
We're in
turned
there
that
for a
into
double.
5. That was a particularly good showing. Anyway, moving on. Hole 9, playing that righty backhand hyzer, 120 metres. Probably plays a bit shorter than that, but when you have to pull it wide, we've got OB short left, wrapping back around the basket and long with the OB sand green there as well. Aim is to land a little bit short right of the basket and skip up into it. Try not to go long or left.
Yeah, the big danger here for a lot of these guys will be that OB left catching a big skip. Like that.
Skip there.
I thought at least it was going to skip. Out the back.
And finding that left OB. It's only probably 11 metres, Jacob?
It's 11. It's sort of edge of circle on the left side, and then it goes to about, it goes longer and longer as it goes out, about 14 metres directly long of the basket.
Yeah. More treacherous than it appears, especially with, you see this headwind and the skip.
Dan getting that to flatten out beautifully. Fading back in.
Ooh.
Just past the basket and OB.
There.
Another victim of that ground
Probably would
play.
have been about 18 metres long, I think, in the end. Already turning that one over.
Wow.
I saw Corey's turnover, saw them go long, just down a little bit, something a bit more stable, FX2. Try and pump eyes on.
This looks great, just needs to catch some solid ground and finds a few leaves
Yeah.
maybe, just
Should
to
have a
slow it
pretty
down a
clean look
bit.
from about 9 metres.
Does the job.
Corey's holding its line beautifully and sliding
I
up.
believe he was inbounds there. Big tree.
Yeah, a long way over, but a couple metres from the line, so...
Great putt save. What a putt. That would have been, about 9 or 10 metres. Beautiful.
Beautifully, the spin just held through the wind as you drop that one in from slightly above the
Felt
basket.
very, very
Love
good
the
after the
downhill
double.
putt.
I'll tell you what. That was disgusting. Certainly a little bit higher, but hate to see it.
Yeah, couldn't have found much more centre chains, but basket says no. So we call it quits on the front 9. we've got Jacob out to the lead for the card at least, even with that double there. So plenty of work to be done. Dan and Chris both tied at 1 under, but not really tied, MP40 things. And Corey closely behind it even as we take a look at the wider leaderboard. Any surprises, Jacob?
That is a very, very hot start from Connor and Austin there. I mean, Connor's sort of fighting some health things recently and some poor form. And yeah, what a start. You don't see that very often at all. Setting up for some hot scores going into the back.
Absolutely, yeah. Blake, home track advantage. Good showing for the front 9. Hopefully keep the foot on the gas moving into those final 9 holes.
All right, well, thanks for joining us for the front 9. Like and subscribe if you've enjoyed this coverage. Thank you, Jacob Davies, for joining us to talk us through your round and your tournament. I've been Ashley, that's been Kyle, and thank you, Jacob. Until next time, park it.